Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I'd like to first of all recommend you guys the great book by Patrick McKeown. It's called Oxygen Advantage and it's a great book and I hope you guys will choose to read it. Patrick McKeown talks about proper breathing and specifically nasal breathing, right? Where you take slow breaths and how that reduces breathlessness, improves your VO2 max, and increases your tolerance to carbon dioxide. So there's a lot of benefits that come along with it. And so all the benefits of Oxygen Advantage are summarized in his book, and I actually talked a little bit about that in my previous videos. I talked about breath holds last time and how effective that is and how you can use it to mimic training at high altitudes or even high intensity training by simply doing breath holds. You can do it from the comfort of your house or apartment. So an oxygen saturation of 91% for 24 seconds corresponded with a higher EPO or erythropoietin by 24%. That's impressive, right? So when your oxygen saturation drops, so the normal range is between 94 and 99, and when it drops to 91% for 24 seconds, your EPO just skyrockets by 24%. And doing it for 136 seconds at that oxygen saturation actually increases EPO by 36%, right? And so you literally get more red blood cells, better oxygen delivery, VO2 max, all of that. So that drop in oxygen saturation is great. And Patrick McKeown talks about, well, what's the point if it's only going to have short-term benefits? Well, he mentioned, no, this breath holds activity can also help long-term as well if you practice breath holds regularly. If you practice it over time, then you can get long-term effects as well. And so Patrick McKeown also talks about an advanced technique as well. I mentioned last time how you can incorporate breath holds in walking and in other sports like jogging and running and even swimming. And there's also an advanced technique where you literally, and this is only for advanced people who have a BOLT score, and check his book out if you're unsure what a BOLT score is, but you want a BOLT score of at least 30 to do this exercise, and you want to be generally healthy and fit. And so he says that you literally go for 40 to 60 paces and while holding your breath, and then subsequent holds are done for only 5 to 10 paces, and you literally sip with your nose for only 10% of your normal breath, and then you do that for 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, so you literally hold your breath for 40 to 60 paces, and then you just take a sip, 5 to 10 paces walk, take a sip, etc. for 1 to 2 minutes. And so again, there's a bunch of strategies that he talks about in his book, and one of them is called breathe light to breathe right, where like for 5 minutes you simply use your nose to take small breaths, right? So you take small inhales and relaxing exhales, breathing from your belly or diaphragm, okay? And so you just practice that. Then you can simulate high intensity and high altitude by what we did, right? Using walking, by what we did in the last video. And then if you want for a challenge, you can do this advanced simulation that we did. And so there's a guy named Nick Marshall, which is an Australian athlete who raced in Paris, and he actually applied all these techniques in Oxygen Advantage as taught by Patrick McKeown, and literally his weight lowered, his VO2 max went up, he had better buffering capacity of lactic acid, and even his resting heart rate lowered. So what did he do? Well, he simply applied all the techniques in Oxygen Advantage, such as breathing light to breathe right for 15 minutes, where you use your nose to take small breaths, and then relaxing exhales, breathing only through the belly or diaphragm. He simulated high intensity training when walking, like we talked about in the last video, but he did it for 60 to 80 paces. Now you don't have to do that much. That's pretty impressive. You can also get there eventually, and you can improve with constant practice. Then he rested for 3 to 4 minutes, and then he did one set of advanced simulation breath hold to reduce his oxygen saturation to 81 to 84%. So this is a a pretty involved type of regimen. You don't have to go that far, but you can practice breath holds for the breathe light to breathe right technique for 5 minutes every day. You can simulate the high intensity training while walking, right? For example, and if you're very good, you can do the advanced stimulation. But here's something else you can do. You can also use this breath holds to warm up, and this is really cool. You can actually, before your exercise, let's say you're doing on this day a Tabata set, right? Or let's say you're doing a high intensity session on a bike, for example. Well, you can actually warm up using breath holds, as Buteyko mentions in his book. All you do is you literally, you can warm up by walking, and you breathe through the abdomen, telling your body to relax, especially that chest and the abdomen. And after a minute of walking, you exhale via the nose and you pinch your nose and you go for 10 to 30 paces with around a moderate air hunger. You release and you repeat every minute, right? For 10 minutes. So after every minute, you pinch your nose, you hold 10 to 30 paces. Repeat for 10 minutes. So it's a 10-minute warm-up that you can do before any exercise. After a workout, you can, of course, do some stretching. But here's another great thing you can do, and it only takes 3 to 5 minutes, and it's a recovery type of exercise for a cool down, where you exhale, right? You pinch your nose with your fingers, you hold for 2 to 5 seconds, and then you breathe normally for 10 seconds. Pinch, hold 2 to 5 seconds, breathe normally via the nose for 10 seconds, and you repeat this for around 3 to 5 minutes. So that's another good cool down that you can do as well. So you can actually incorporate these not only in your workout, if you will, because this is like a workout actually, but you can also incorporate it as a warm up and as a cool down. So if you want, this is something you can do. You can do a warm up. You can do the simulation thing while walking for your exercise, and then you can do the cool down. So you can have a whole entire workout done around breath holds. Okay? And breath holds is really, really good because of all the benefits I mentioned, such as higher VO2 max, better buffering capacity against lactic acid. And just by doing this warm up, you're actually gonna increase your performance during the workout as well. So give breath holds a try and let me know in the comments how that went.